How's it going, everyone? My name is True Wonder Dog, and today we're looking at the patch notes for Shao Kahn. Our boy got a lot of buffs, so he's stronger than ever before. Now I have the patch notes printed out right in front of me, so let's go ahead and start at the top. So for starters, Shao Kahn actually has more health than the average fighter now. Instead of 1000, he has 1050, so this string right here does about 50 damage. That life you see missing from D'Vorah is how much more health Shao Kahn has than the average character in Mortal Kombat 11. And that's nice because Shao Kahn doesn't have the best zoning, and a lot of his moves don't really beat zoning either. He has this move, which can hop over some projectiles, but it certainly doesn't work against all kinds of zoning, so having a bit more health means he can take a few more hits before getting in and he won't die. So having more health definitely is a plus. And next up we have his Annihilation Crushing Blow, which recovers faster now. So Annihilation is right here. And to get this crushing blow, you actually have to summon Dark Priest, and this guy actually recovers faster now, which is nice. But let's go ahead and do the crushing blow, and it recovers faster now, so I'm wondering, can we do a jumping combo? It doesn't seem like it, at least not outside of the corner, but it still does recover quicker, which means I have new combo routes. Shao Kahn already is a combo king, so having more options is definitely a good thing. Next up we have his forward throw crushing blow, which now recovers slightly faster and also leaves the opponent closer, which is nice because now this extension is going to be a lot easier to do. Shao Kahn is one of the few characters who can actually combo after his throw crushing blow, though it has always been very difficult, so much so that it almost felt like a bug to me, like it wasn't actually intentional but players just discovered it because the window really was that small. So now it's a bit easier to capitalize on this crushing blow, which is awesome because once again Shao Kahn is the combo king. So next up we have Shao Kahn's shoulder tackle. So the down amplify option now starts up in 22 frames instead of 20, so it's a little bit slower. However, it does recover 13 frames faster, and the knockdown advantage has been increased by 8 frames, along with a small hitbox adjustment as well. So what this means is it's now much easier to pressure the opponent once you get that knockdown. So let's go ahead and see that real quick. So I'm gonna do it. Oh yeah, I get all that extra frame advantage now, so let's go ahead and tell D'Vorah to do a wake up because I want to see just how far that +8 actually goes for fun. So we're going to tell her to get up. We're going to make her do a wake up 2 because the wake up 2 isn't invincible, so we might get a trade this way. So is this fast enough? Oh, it might actually be. I did it a bit too soon. That's crazy. So that actually beats wake ups. If she did wake up 3, that would have won. But if she did anything else that's not invincible, my big boot, my forward 4 will actually beat her, and that's a big deal because it has frame advantage on block, so that's fantastic. So now if you land this, the enhanced version, and knock him down, you're so plus you can actually do his big boot and they have to respect it. That's awesome. And next up we have Shao Kahn's buffs. Now these might be my personal favorite changes, so the priest now recovers 17 frames faster. So look how fast I can block now. Now unfortunately, it's not so fast that you can just do it this close that the opponent could still possibly punish you with certain moves, but you certainly do have more situations you can now safely summon the priest. Before, all you could do was land this spear and then summon him. That was the only time you could actually do it, and the timing was a bit weird. It was like when your hammer came back, you could summon him and the opponent had nothing they could really do that would actually interrupt you. Let me mash here just for fun. So you could summon him like that, and no character could really interrupt you. However, now because he summons so much faster, you have more ways you can summon him in an actual match, which is fantastic. Having the recovery reduced by 17 frames is very, very good. And next up we have his 2 different taunts. So both Ridicule and Humiliate recover 36 frames faster, and the effect actually lasts for 9 seconds instead of 6.5 seconds, so almost 3 seconds more, almost a third longer, so that's very, very good. Especially since Shao Kahn does rely on these for some of his crushing blows. So before you couldn't even get the crushing blows because Humiliate took so darn long to do, but now recovers a lot faster and the effect lasts for longer, so now those crushing blows are actually possible in a real match. And next up we have the attack string. So all of these strings got updated in some way or another. So up first we have Warlord. So the cancel frame occurs 2 frames earlier, has 13 frames of startup instead of 15, so it's 2 frames faster, and the cancel occurs 2 frames earlier, that's very good, 5 less recovery frames, 5 more frames of block stun, and its hit region has been adjusted. So that's all really good. So for starters, it's faster and recovers quicker. So that means much tougher to punish, and it has more block stun, which means the opponent can't punish you as soon either. That's really good. So this string just got better in pretty much every single way. And then his next string, Die, is now 1 frame faster. It's 26 frames instead of 27. Its hitbox has been adjusted. However, it can no longer be canceled into special moves when it's blocked. So I guess that's alright. It's slightly better and a little bit worse at the same time, but that nerf doesn't seem like a very big deal. I think the buffs definitely outweigh the nerfs in this situation. And then we have Takeover, which is now 16 frames instead of 19. And I do want to make one thing clear, if they refer to just the first button like Tenderizer or Rage Strike, they're referring to the very first hit, but for Takeover or Warlord, they're actually referring to the second hit, because that's the actual string. It's defined by the very last button in that sequence. So Takeover, they're referring to the last hit. The last hit is now better. And then we have Tenderizer. One more active frame, cancels can occur 1 frame earlier, 1 less frame of recovery, and its hitbox has been adjusted. So more active frames means that I have more chance to actually hit the opponent with this. It's active for longer, that's really good. It also cancels a bit earlier, which is also very good as well. It recovers a bit better, which means on block it's a bit safer, so that's also very, very good. And last but not least, the hitbox has been adjusted, so it's more reliable during combos and is much less likely to whiff in most situations. And then we have Rage Strike, one of my favorite moves Shao Kahn has. So this move now has 8 frames of hit stun. That's really good. So when I hit the opponent, they're stunned for 8 frames. That's really good. And the animation on hit is also different as well. I did notice that. The opponent spins backwards. I like that. It's a very minor change, but I appreciate it. And then we have Will You Fail. So the cancel now occurs 3 frames faster, I believe. Yes, 3 frames earlier on the cancel, so my special comes out 3 frames quicker. So if I cancel it, it's just a little bit quicker. That's very nice. That's gonna make some combos a lot more reliable, especially if the combo's gone on for a very long time. You can cancel a bit sooner, and look at that, it did not drop. That's the benefit of the cancel being about 3 frames faster. So all of these changes so far, really, really good, but I think the one for Rage Strike and Will You Fail are my favorites so far. And Bow to Me is also slightly faster now. It's 21 frames instead of 23, which it was before. So that's very nice. The last hit is a little bit faster. And next up we have Fear Me. This one mostly got buffed, but also had a slight nerf to compensate, and I think it bounces out pretty well. So for starters, it's slightly slower. It's now 28 frames instead of 26, but it does recover 18 frames faster, and when flawless blocked, it has 10 less frames of block stun with reduced pushback, so the opponent's a bit closer when they flawless block, which means they can punish you a lot easier. However, this move is now +2 on block, which is very, very good. So I'm gonna go ahead and tell Devora to block here, and check this out. So when I have Devora block, look at that. I am now at +2 on block. I love that because that means I can now reinforce my pressure. Now I am pretty far away, so not too many things that I can do to reinforce my pressure. It would be nice if I could do this, but I'm not quite close enough. Does back 2 reach? I bet back 2 actually reaches. It does. So I can do back 2 to actually frame trap the opponent. What's the frame data on that? How fast does it start up? 13 frames, and I'm at +2, which means the opponent has to do something 11 frames or faster to actually beat this, but I'm also pretty far away, so chances are if they do a jab or something, it's going to whiff, and my back 2 is actually going to win. So I think back 2 is one of your best things to do in that situation. You could Hail Mary at back 3, that's a bit slower. It does launch the opponent though, so that's pretty nice, but the point is this is now +2. In the corner, I wonder how much pushback there is in the corner. If not very much, that makes it even better. So I have Devora cornered now. How close am I? Not close enough for forward 3, but still pretty close. So the back 2 is still definitely a threat. So if you time that perfectly, it can actually be a frame trap for a lot of characters. So pretty darn good to have that +2 after this move. Just keep in mind you can flawless block the second hit, and the opponent can punish you by doing that. So to prevent that, every now and then you just want to special cancel it to keep them guessing, because they can't flawless block it with the exact same timing, and that shoulder will catch them. Or you can just finish it, or do Bow to Me instead, because it's a different timing as well. So if they do start doing a lot of flawless blocks on this to avoid your frame advantage, you can just special cancel it or any other number of things to keep them guessing. And then last but not least, we have Hammer Poke. So for this one, the hitbox was just slightly adjusted. It wasn't a very good jump in, honestly, but at the same time, jumping 2 is just so ridiculously good. Such a good move. It's great for combos, great for jumping in, does decent damage, but jumping 1 has had its hitbox slightly adjusted. Anything else for it? Nope, just its hitbox adjusted. So that's about it for Shao Kahn overall, but there are a few bug fixes that I want to read off as well, just so you know about them. So there was an issue with Ground Shatter, and the Ground Shatter amplified interacting with projectiles and destroying abilities. It no longer does that, that's been fixed. They also fixed an audio issue with Seeking Hammer. When it was interrupted, apparently the sound wouldn't work exactly, and that's been fixed as well. And next we have a visual issue with hammer object playing incorrect animation when turning around while ducking. So very specific stuff here, but that animation has been fixed. It's no longer incorrect. And finally, we have an issue with the forward throw crushing blow not working correctly while the HUD is turned off. So I guess if you were doing some kind of YouTube video montage and you didn't want the HUD on screen, you wouldn't actually get that crushing blow sometimes, but now it works no matter what. So that's very, very nice. Overall, I'm very pleased with these changes to Shao Kahn. He certainly got more attention than many other characters on the roster, and for the most part, he got buffs. So please let me know your thoughts on Shao Kahn in the comments down below. Do you like the buffs, or do you think he deserves a little bit more? And finally, why not keep that combo going by subscribing and ringing that bell? That way you never miss a future video. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.